So yeah, first of all, I would actually like to point out my speech is on, or talk, we want to call it, speech, Truthfully and Best Man Talks, is actually around when's the right time to move into sales leadership. And I was actually inspired from my first encounter with James on bringing this talk together. So I'm CRO of Peakon, as James mentioned, ex-Huddle. We took that company on an amazing journey from 10 of us to around 200 people at its peak. And then off the back of that, I realised some of the importance of some of the intangible things around what makes an amazing startup. And the key buzzword thing everyone's trying is like this belief factor. Hence, when I come like Peakon, which is around employee engagement. So when's the right time to step into sales leadership? Well, the first thing I'd say is you're not going to know. Not to kill the whole talk now, but you're not going to know. It's not like you have a bowl of porridge on one and go, oh, I think I'm ready to be a sales leader. For me, it's not about when's the right time. It's about when's the right opportunity. And that led me to my first ever encounter with James, which was we were sat overlooking Old Street roundabout, Huddle's first proper office that had windows. And James came to me looking for a job. And I said to him, why do you want to get in this industry? You're a recruiter. And he said, I really want to work for managers that will give me the skills to one day to do what you're doing. He then bribed me and showed me a picture of his 1-year-old child to make sure that he got the job. James joined on the Monday. By Tuesday, he wanted my job. By Wednesday, he wanted to run marketing. Thursday, he was running product strategy. And Friday, he was one of our VCs. Did James get any of those leadership positions in that week? No, because it wasn't the right opportunity for him at that time. So what is leadership for me? And there's loads of these kind of books that describe the difference between leadership and management. And for me, the one thing I've learned to step into leadership, it's around making people believe the impossible is possible. You know, leadership isn't about the ego. It definitely isn't about the title. It's around going into battle first with people. It's about when the limelight's there, you step out and put someone else in it. And when the torch is being shined because something's going wrong, you step forward and take that heat. So I'm just going to give you an acronym that talks through with 3 things that I think will help you in that decision-making process of when is the right opportunity. And anyone that's worked for me will know I love an acronym, but it's E, C, P. So just taking a step back though, I will give you the answer to those. First of all, how many people hands up are leaders at the moment or manage people? Cool, good crowd. So I would say think about who's the best leader that you've worked for, what makes them great. Just kind of hold that in your head for a second. Like I said, I promise you that it's not going to be the fact that they drove a Ferrari, you know, or that they had C at the start of their name. It's about other things. So when you're considering is the right opportunity and when's the time to step into leadership, hands up, how many people have their own to-do list to keep track of time? Forget it. You won't have it when you're in leadership. You know, your job is around taking everyone else's to-do list, filtering what's most important, and then trying to relay a message around why it's important to align to a goal that everyone has to accomplish. Pretty challenging. So you can forget your own to-do list to start with. How many people like deciding where they go on holiday, what car they drive, what handbag that they have? Most people. Forget it. When you step into leadership, you know, from being an individual contributor, suddenly everything you do is the responsibility of 8, 9, 10, 12, however many hundreds of people. And what's challenging is if that goes wrong somewhere, it's not like you take the heat from someone. You can't just relay that message on and go, oh, you messed that up. Suddenly you're accountable. You're accountable for making that person better tomorrow than what they were today. So you can definitely get the holiday stuff. Third one is who likes a little cheeky meeting on a 3 PM on a Thursday? You know, get out of the office a bit early, get home, get in your pants, finish the proposal. Forget it. Because once you step into leadership, you are the example to everyone else. You know, if you lead a team and they see you leaving a meeting and not coming back in, trust me, they'll think that's acceptable. And everyone follows. All those times of being able to gossip in the kitchen around people, if you start gossiping, that becomes acceptable that they can gossip. You've got to be prepared to change your role, right? You know, it's the poacher turned gamekeeper situation. So moving on to what does my acronym stand for. So the E is for elevating people. And I go back to my first job, actually my best man, one of my colleagues is in the room somewhere, and we battled it out for top biller. And then when an opportunity came up to be manager, I put my hand up, yeah, I can do this. What's your experience? Top biller. And the response was, tell me how you've influenced someone's career in this business. And I blagged an answer about helping a junior guy to get better. But ultimately, the only reason I've done that is because it got more appointments in my diary so that I hit my target so that I would look like the greatest. That's not really a good sign for leadership. So it's all around elevating people in your opportunity. And what you need to think about when you're considering it is it something that you feel you can help someone to get better at? And if not, it's probably not the right time. My second one is linked to kind of my journey with Huddle, which the C stands for company and the mission behind it. You need to believe in that mission so much that you want it as badly as the oxygen that you breathe. Because the opportunity that arose to me at Huddle wasn't around, do you want to step into management? Do you want this title? Do you want to lead a team of 8 people? Actually, in the one-to-one it was, people in the company are inspired by the way that you're going out and talk around Huddle. I think there's a lot of value you could have around supporting some of the team in the UK. I didn't even think about what the title was going to be. I was like, yeah, definitely. Because what I wanted Huddle to become the #1 collaboration technology in the world. And I truly believed that it was possible. And I felt like by doing that, I could definitely get people to rally behind it. I could help them to get better at selling Huddle, come back to the E, and I definitely believed in the company mission. The last one is around protecting, which sounds like a bit of a weird one, right? But for me, probably the biggest lesson I learned, and it took me a little while to get into it in leadership is actually incredibly lonely. You know, you have to stand up at the front. You're no longer the person that's rallying with the group to get the decision changed on the comp plan or fiddle the number and put renewal through his new business. You know, VCs don't like that. So you sort of have to stand at the front and make these really, really tough calls. And it's not about being popular. It's about being respected and being fair. But that can often create a situation of being incredibly lonely. I think that is something that comes about the loneliness because you are protecting people all the time. You know, if you've ever read Dear Deirdre, you take that on when you're in a leader. Because you deal with people's personal problems, you deal with why the deal got lost, you then have to deal with the person that's walking around like they're 6 foot above the ground because they've closed the biggest deal that month and think they're absolutely incredible. You have to bring them back down a little bit. But you're constantly juggling all these things at the same time. You've got to motivate these people to be better, but you've got to be internally motivated to do it. So working for an engagement data company, the one thing I can tell you from the data is, if you work in the leadership team and you ask them, do they believe in the strategy? Of course they do. We created it. Of course we believe in it. Ask them if they feel recognised for their work, and they score the lowest because you don't get much recognition for it. So that third point around protection is you basically need to be a shield the whole time for your team. Because there'll be stuff that comes from the top, you'll be dealing with customer complaints and the personal problems. And you have to bring them all together to make people want to be better every single day. So they're kind of my 3 points. And I said for me, it's not about when is the right time, it's about when's the right opportunity. So I have a little saying that for some of the people I'm fortunate enough to mentor and manage, and that's windows and mirrors. If you can hold the mirror up and look in it and answer those questions, you go, yep, I'm 100% ready and I can take it on my own shoulders, that could be the right opportunity. If you're still looking out the window, looking for blame, then now's not the right time. But when you do get into that role and you pick the right one, trust me, there's nothing more rewarding in the world, especially when you stand up and see people like James running events like this, and I remember him coming into that meeting at Old Street as some diamond in the rough recruiter, for the want of a better phrase. And now he's putting on amazing events like this. So that's my view on leadership.